A big Good Morning Football welcome to an old friend of ours, Mr. Eli Manning.
What's up, Eli? What's up, Eli?
What's up, guys? How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Great.
It is great to have you on. It seems like it's been a while since you retired, but it was really only a couple years ago when you made the official announcement. How has retirement been for you so far, and how are you staying busy?
You know, it's been really good, and you know, just trying to stay busy. I did not accomplish my goal of avoiding TV. I said, whatever I do when I retire, I don't want to go on TV. And now I have like my own show. I'm doing, you know, Monday Night Football. So I went to the dark side. I went to the media side. I didn't think that was going to happen, but you know, here I am and having fun with it.
But you're doing it on your terms, which I love. Let's talk about this Eli Manning Show. It premiered just before the Giants retired your jersey. That was back in September. You've had some incredible guests on. Let's take a look at a little clip from this week's episode.
You head check the outside.
Yeah, you ready?
Right down. Say, hut.
Oh, yeah.
A little wobbly. There it is. Touchdown. All right, you get your one touchdown dance. What are you doing? What's your touchdown dance?
I'm just going to hand it to the ref. It's routine.
There you go.
It's routine. I do this. I don't need to celebrate. That was a good pass. It made a little short, but, you know, I'll take it.
I mean, Eli, first of all, how does it feel getting critiqued by Kevin Durant?
Hey, you know, that guy's an all-star. I wish I had him as a receiver. I like a 6'11" receiver to run a fade in the end zone. That'd be pretty nice. You know, I don't think, you know, I don't want to throw him over the middle. I don't think, you know, anybody wants to see someone go for his legs, but I think a fade route on the outside.
Don't break him up.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it simple. Just a red zone specialist. But,
totally.
You know, it's been a lot of fun, obviously, getting guys like Kevin Durant to come on. We also play a little Pop-A-Shot. But you'll have to watch the show to see that. So having guests on there, some great people. I co-host with OHara, one of my best friends in the world. Nice. So we have a lot of fun each day.
What have you learned from making that show?
You know that it's just you know, a lot of preparation. And, you know, I give a lot more credit, have a lot more respect for all of you on TV. There's a lot of, you know, you kind of have a game plan. You have some things you want to get asked, and all of a sudden, it's like you get way off script, and now you're improvising. But you got to kind of get back to the main focus of the conversation, of the point. And so it's harder than it looks, and a lot of preparation goes into it.
Some of the most fun is like when we get off script, Eli, just as in football. And one of the guys who does that with us is the guy you mentioned, OHara. He's a mutual friend of ours. He's at this table all the time. He's obviously really close with you. We know OHara goes real deep on the Will Ferrell film catalog, not afraid of flatulence humor, any of that type of stuff. Eli, give us something about OHara that the next time he's in, we can play this clip of you talking about him, and maybe we can bust his chops or even embarrass him. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, my favorite story about OHara is maybe, I can't remember what's, maybe 05, I think it was 2006. He gets injured. He says he has, like, athlete's foot. The next thing you know, he's in the hospital. He spends 2 weeks in the hospital. You know, we're checking on him. You know, we don't know what's going on. So finally he gets back. He plays. The next week, we win. Monday night, we go out to dinner. Got a bunch of us. He brings a new date. It was his nurse from the hospital. I don't think he was really injured. I think he was just trying to get the nerve to ask her out. Yep. And now he's married to her now, Amy, and they're great. We love him. But I was like, it's total. I think he faked an injury and faked. Who goes to the hospital for 2 weeks for athlete's foot? But, you know, it worked out. He got a wife out of it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not faking it, maybe just milking it a little bit, Eli. All right, let's flip the script a little bit. We had your brother on earlier, and he was announcing the nominees for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Obviously, you were a recipient of that award. Just tell our viewers what that meant to you.
Yeah, it's one of the great honors that I've ever received, you know, in my career, just because it's really, you know, you're getting an award for something you're not trying to get an award for. It's just you're just doing the right thing. You're giving back to your community. And so the different charities I've been involved with, Tackle Kids Cancer is one of, you know, the main ones, and helping kids with pediatric cancer. And so, I mean, that's just something that you know, every time I've gone to a hospital and you see a child that's sick, you just want to do anything possible to try to help them. And you know, I can, you know, try to make the child smile, but now also I relate to the parents. And, you know, being a father of 4 kids, and Kurt, you know about that. Like when you have you know, one of your kids that are sick, if they're sick with a cold, you know, you want to do everything to help them. Let alone what the parents are going through and the family goes through when you have a child with cancer. So just want to do anything possible, try to get them back healthy, back in school, back to being a kid again. Is so important. So to win the Walter Payton Man of the Year award was such a great honor, because I wasn't trying to win it. I was just trying to do the right thing. But to be recognized with the great guys like yourself who have won that award in the past and done great things around their communities.
It's an amazing honor, and for 20 years, you were the embodiment of class and represented the Giants organization so well. You're a couple years removed from the team. They're 4-8 right now. We know the quarterback situation's in flux. Besides all the texts I'm getting from Giants fan friends asking if you can go for one more game, I would ask you, what would you like to see from this team over the course of the next few games as we head towards yet another offseason in 2022?
You know, I think just keep grinding. They're playing games close into the 4th quarter. They're not getting blown out. They're competing. It's just you know, they got to make some plays at critical moments, and you know, you need your stars to step up at those times. And so I hope that they can just you know, keep working hard, keep putting themselves in situation to be close in those 4th quarters, and then hopefully the guys who are healthy and out there can just hey, take over a game in those situations. That's what your stars are supposed to do. And so, you know, they need their best players playing at an extremely high level when they're needed.
So, Eli, beyond your own show, you've joined your brother for the ManningCast, and everybody's loving it. Obviously, we love your guys' football knowledge, but maybe more so, we love that we get to go into your living room with you without shoes on and you guys having fun and that banter between the two of you. What has been the most enjoyable part for you of the ManningCast?
You know, I think just getting to hang out with my brother. I don't get to see Peyton all that often. You know, when we were both playing, you know, he was in Indianapolis or Denver. I'm in New York. So, you know, we didn't get Thanksgiving holidays together and Christmas holidays together. So we're always kind of separate. We try to get together in the off season, but to know that, hey, I got, you know, 10 Mondays where I get to hang with him, talk with him a bunch during the week, kind of just coming up with funny stories that we can bring up during the cast. And so it's been fun to kind of go on, you know, Monday nights, get to watch a football game with my brother, which I hardly ever get to do and haven't done in 20 years at least, to get to do that, watch a football game and make fun of them for 3 hours, you know, on live TV. That's a pretty good scenario. I didn't know that existed when I retired. I didn't know that was a possibility, but I found it, and I'm very happy.
Well, one thing that we've always heard about Peyton is how meticulous he was when he played, with all the little details. What's he like as a coworker? What's he like being on the same show with him?
Just how I expect him to game plan and to work and to be, you know, extremely prepared. And he sends a lot of voice memos, and I didn't know much about the voice memo. It's different than a voicemail. He does not call me. He just texts me of him just talking, a text of him leaving. Sometimes they're 4 or 5 minutes. Sometimes they'll go for like 22 minutes. And also I'm just sitting in my office, and there's Peyton talking. My wife will walk in and be like, "Who are you talking to?" It's like, is Peyton still talking? What could he possibly be talking about? And, you know, it's just what he sees about the defenses, stories about who he's talked to, what he wants to do, what I need to do, who I should talk to, what, you know, perspective I got to look at. So, I mean, he has everything game planned and is telling me exactly what to do. And so I just shake my head, and he's telling me, hey, I got to watch his detail that he did on Mac Jones. I'm like, just send me a voice memo of what you said in the detail, because I'm not watching all these things you're trying to get me to watch.
It's so perfect. And Eli, some of your former teammates know that that's about the only thing about a smartphone that you don't know and don't know how to manipulate, because I know you have a long history of pranks with smartphones that we'll talk about another time. But Peyton came on. He was on this show like a half hour ago, and we asked him, since he is now a Madden ratings adjuster, we'd had him give himself and you some ratings based on your broadcasting skills. Let's take a look, Eli, if you will. I'll walk you through them, then you can give your thoughts. Interview, he gave himself a 20, you an 80. He says he interrupts Letterman too much. General wittiness, both 70s, a level playing field.
Cooper,
and then,
what, 100, right?
Yes, out of 100. And then Cooper got 100. And then versus Tom Brady, that rating, himself a 10 and you 100. So, Eli, looking at these categories and ratings, what did he get right and what would you adjust about his adjustments?
You know, I think Peyton, I think his interview skills are better. I think, you know, when you get off script, he adjusts better. He has kind of questions that are unscripted that he has just kind of thought of in his head, or he just doesn't tell me he's going to ask. So I think his interview ability is better. His wittiness, I think, you know, I think that both are equal. I think they're both too high. I think they probably both need to go down a little bit. And you know, so I think he's, you know, pretty close. But I think he's, you know, he did well versus Brady as well. He likes to talk about Brady a lot. So and he talks about who he talked to that week a lot. I mean, he's like name dropping like crazy. I can't get over it.
That's it. He spoke to Josh Allen this week. We learned that last night. He said it a couple times. We heard it.
He
Did you know
kept
that?
saying it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, I see the jersey. I see that your son had a Josh Allen jersey on, and he used his name for his flag football team. I'm like, I mean, he's a big Josh Allen fan. Who knew?
That's cool. That's it. And this is cool for us.
So
Eli,
cool.
thank you so much. Thanks for being a good sport. And if you got one more game, there's a trip out to Los Angeles for the Chargers this week.
Let's go.
It would be one game, just one more. I don't know. No?
Yeah.
Just one more. I don't know.
That's it.
Great.
Just like I said.
You're not coming out of retirement for 3 passes. You're not doing it for 3 passes. Tell him you need 43 passes, Eli, if you're coming back.
I could
Kurt's
do that.
on one.
I can do that.
Yeah.